Hi everyone, we have two examples in this video and you have to show that the given function have a solution in a given interval using the intermediate value theorem. So in the first example we have two parts, part A and B. In part A you have to use the intermediate value theorem to show that the equation x equals cosine x has at least one solution or one root in the interval from 0 to pi over 2. To do that you have to check the conditions of the mean value theorem, but first you have to create a function by moving cosine x to the left hand side. You will get f of x equals to x minus cosine x, and the interval is given, which is from 0 to pi over 2. Now we have to check the conditions. In part A you have to check the continuity of the function on the interval from 0 to pi over 2, and as you see the function f is a difference between two continuous functions. X is polynomial, which means it's continuous everywhere, and cosine x is a periodic function, which means it's continuous everywhere, and a difference of two continuous function is continuous, and hence f of x is continuous on the closed interval from 0 to pi over 2. Secondly, you have to check the signs of f of A and f of B. So you have to calculate them, and you have to calculate the f of 0, which is 0 minus cosine of 0, and this will give us 0 minus 1, which is minus 1, less than 0. So f of 0 is negative, and you have to plug in the second end point, which is f of pi over 2, and this will give us pi over 2 minus cosine pi over 2. Now cosine pi over 2 is 0, and you will have pi over 2, which is greater than 0, so f of pi over 2 is positive. Now since we have opposite sides for the f of A and f of B, and the f is continuous in the given interval, this means there is a solution C in the interval from 0 to pi over 2. Now you have to find this solution in part B, and in part B we have the question approximates the solution to 3 decimal places, and in this part you have to use the mid value procedure to find C. So here we have a number line, and in our question we have the interval from 0 to pi over 2. We found that f of 0 is negative and f of pi over 2 is positive. So we have root inside the interval. You have to find the mid value between 0 and pi over 2, so add them, 0 plus pi over 2, then divide by 2 to find the mid value. You will get pi over 4. So here we have pi over 4, and you have to find or plug in pi over 4 in the function we have. You will get pi over 4 minus cosine pi over 4, and you have to use calculator to find, and this is equals to 0.78, which means greater than 0, which is positive. So the image of pi over 4 under the function is positive. Now the root is somewhere here. It is not in this interval, because here we have positive and positive, so the root is between 0 and pi over 4. So you have to repeat the idea, and you have to find the midpoint or the mid value between 0 and pi over 4 by adding the endpoints and divide them by 2, and you will get pi over 8. Then you have to find f of pi over 8, and you will get pi over 8 minus cosine pi over 8, and you have to use calculator to find it, and it's equal to negative 0.53, which is less than 0, so it is negative. So here we have negative. Now next, where is the location of C, or the solution? It will be here between negative and positive. So you have to make a lot of iterations to get accurate value of C. Sometimes the question tells you how many iterations you have to find, but here I did 2 iterations, and I think it's enough for this question. So C equals pi over 8, and you have to write it to 3 decimal places, which is equal to 0.393. Now in example 2, you have to use the intermediate value theorem to show that x plus sine x equals to 1 has at least one solution in the interval from 0 to pi over 6. So you have to move on to the left hand side to get the function f of x. So f of x equals x plus sine x minus 1, and the interval is 0 to pi over 6. Now you have to check the continuity of the function, and as you see we have x, which is a polynomial, sine x periodic function, minus 1 constant function. So we have addition and subtraction of 3 continuous function, and the 3 continuous function, the continuity of these 3 functions in R from negative infinity to infinity. So the 3 functions are continuous everywhere, which means that the given function of x is continuous on the interval from 0 to pi over 6. So this is the first condition for the I.V.T. Secondly, you have to find f of 0 and f of pi over 6. So f of 0 equals 0 plus sine 0 minus 1, and 0 plus sine 0 is 0, minus 1 will be negative 1, less than 0. So f of 0 is negative. Then you have to find f of pi over 6, and this is equals to pi over 6 plus sine pi over 6 minus 1. Now pi over 6 is 30 degree, and we have pi over 6 plus sine 30 degree is 1 over 2 minus 1. Use calculator to find this operation. You will get 0.02, which means it is a positive. So f of 0 and f of pi over 6 have opposite signs. So the 2 conditions satisfied for the given function and the given interval, and the conclusion is there is C in the open interval from 0 to pi over 6 such that f of C equal 0. So there is a solution in the given interval. In part B, you will use the same procedure we did in the previous example, and you have to put a number line like this, our interval from 0 to pi over 6, and the image of 0 is negative, and the image of pi over 6 is positive. Now you have to take the mid value between 0 and pi over 6, so you have to add 0 plus pi over 6, divide by 2, and this will give us pi over 12. Now you have to plug in pi over 12 in the given function, and it will be pi over 12 minus sine pi over 12 minus 1. Using calculator, this is equals to negative 0.997, which means it is negative. So here we have negative, and the root will be here between pi over 12 and pi over 6. So you have to use another iteration, and you have to find the mid value between pi over 12 and pi over 6. So add these two numbers and divide by 2. This will give us pi over 8. So the mid value is pi over 8. Now you have to plug in pi over 8 and the function we have, and you'll get pi over 8 plus sine pi over 8 minus 1. And this gives us, using calculator, negative 0.225, which is less than 0. So we have negative here. Now the next iteration will be between pi over 8 and pi over 6, but no need to find the next iteration. It's enough for here. So C approximately equals pi over 8, but you have to write pi over 8 in 3 decimal places, and you have to use calculator to find it, and it's equals to 0.393. So this is the idea of the question. You have to check if there is a solution in the given function in the given interval, then you have to find it using the mid value procedure. And that's it. Thank you.